It still remains to be assured that the women in our country, they have the proper position in the society. In fact, when we look back, unfortunately in the society in which we live in, be it in India or Pakistan or any of the neighboring Asian countries, I find the situation is no different. Still now, women are considered to be properties of men, maybe at a young age of the father, at the middle age of the husband, and later on that of the son. A new law has come into being in the year 2005, the Domestic Violence Act, which can take care against physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and of course economic abuse. You know, it's one of the most useful tools in the hands of the tortured women. I would only like to read out two lines from what Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore has said in his famous poetry called Shobola. He said, "Narike apon bhagyo joy koribar, keno nahi dibe odhikar he bidhata, noto kori matha, পদপ্রান্তে কেন রব জাগি, ক্লান্ত ধৈর্য প্রত্যাশার পূরণের লাগি, দৈবাগত দিনে শুধু শূন্যে চেয়ে রব, কেন নিজে নাহি লব চিনে, সার্থকের পথ." I think the day is not far when the ladies of India and all ladies in the world in general will be able to proceed towards that road of success without depending on either the father or the husband or the son.
Domestic violence for a very long time has been an invisible crime. It has been invisible because those who are the victims of this crime, to some extent, have internalized the values of the patriarchal society which causes the crime. We should always remember the amount of ideological burden that a woman has to bear right from her birth, which makes her a kind of an upholder of the same system that is oppressing her. And this is why the crime has been invisible for a very long time. That even when women work outside the home and earn for the family, still they have no right to their own earnings. Women have a home-centered life. However much a woman may work outside, it is always the home that holds her back. And it is this domestic-centered life of a woman, marriage-centered life of a woman, which I think tends to make them the targets of violence.
May I now request Ms. Ognimitra Paul to take the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I, as a designer, I have many women artisans who are working under me. And they are also, they are also subject to this kind of domestic violence at home, many of them. Main is our thought process has to change. We as mothers, we as, of this generation, as Indian citizens, we need to teach our children from the school level. I think education is very important to teach the children that there is no difference between a girl and a boy. Equal respect has to be given to both. Women empowerment, I think, is very, very important. I think that, again, to a certain extent, may solve this problem.
We are talking about the fact that women who are not financially sound, who are illiterate, maybe are facing domestic violence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not true. This is happening even with the educated community, and many of them don't know what to do with this. I feel that some of the girls don't know what to do when they are facing this kind of domestic violence. It is good at times to discuss with people. Two boys came to me and said, "Ma'am, I would not like my father's name to be on my registration form. My mother faced domestic violence. They are separated now. I will just not tolerate this nonsense. I don't want him to as a father." And this shows the repercussions it can have even on the children. I tried telling them, what is there in a name? You have no connection with your father anymore. It's all right if the name is just there, but they were so determined to get the name erased from their registration cards. Ladies and gentlemen, what we see from here is the deep-rooted effect it can have, the psychological effect it can have on a child. Research has shown that if domestic violence is carried on at home in one generation, at times there can be a repercussion through 3 or 4 generations also.
So one aspect I think about a law such as the law for domestic violence, to address against domestic violence, is sensitizing the administration, sensitizing the machinery, sensitizing the judiciary. One of the ways in which we can make such laws come alive, I believe, is by human rights education in our schools. Our young need to be told that fundamental rights, human rights and responsibilities are not simply a matter of civics or learning what the Constitution is. They need to realize the value of what it means, what equality means, what respect for the rule of law means, what equality before the law means, what caste discrimination means in terms of real life examples, so that as children within the curriculum, we inculcate a sense of respect for non-violent means rather than violent means. We need to create awareness, particularly in our administration, our machinery, that is likely to give relief for the law, for the victims. We need to sensitize our judiciary. We need to create spaces, shelters, very difficult. Cities like Bombay and Delhi, virtually impossible to create spaces where women can actually think of spending a few hours to reflect on what they do next. Otherwise, they have no option. They only think of a natal family, which is a no-go. We also have to think of, very, very firmly, I believe, our colleges and schools need to become hubs for rights education. Human rights education is the way forward, I believe.
But the fact remains, even as I am speaking to you, somebody is being raped. Some bride is being thrown out of her home. Somebody is being tortured. Somebody has been asked for more dowry. Somebody is being killed. And this doesn't apply just to women. This applies to children as well. The way they get beaten. On the one hand, we are boasting of our growth. What is the growth worth if the benefits of the growth, which include education and health, do not percolate down to the common denominator? The onus, ladies and gentlemen, lies on us. You, I, the panelists, everybody, both inside this auditorium and outside, to find the solution, to increase awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a prayer. We in India talk of Satyameva Jayate, for it hasn't left truth prevail. Let us all get together, let's be mature. There could be some kind of a human rights awareness among people to make sure that whether it's a cowbelt you're talking of, or whether you're talking of the down south, the infanticide problem will not occur. Amir Khan may appear on television to discourage people trying to find out the gender of a prospective baby. But that's not enough. The onus, ladies and gentlemen, lies on us, each and every Indian.